Fabrizio on two separate players, obviously being Nicolas Jackson and Moises Caicedo. So I think we've got a lot to talk about.
We certainly do. And if you heard a ding, that was Daily, CFC Daily, hitting me up on WhatsApp to remind me to allow him to also co-host. He won't be speaking, but I know he'll be a beast with throwing up tweets in this space, tweets of things we're talking about. Let's bring in Dodge. Dodge was not really able to join us last week as a co-host because he ate some funky pizza. Dodge, how you doing?
Yeah, much better, mate. No pizza today. We're all good.
Good. Glad to hear it. So, Dodge, let's start with you. Nicolas Jackson, boom, just like that. Personal terms agreed. And the caveat here with personal terms being agreed with Nicolas Jackson versus with a different player is obviously Nicolas Jackson's got a release clause. So not every player's got a release clause. Sometimes you can get personal terms done, and then two clubs can never actually come to an agreement on what the transfer fee will be. But in this situation, if you agree personal terms with someone with a release clause, then that's basically all the legwork. So this is a lot more now, it feels certain, right, than just agreeing personal terms with a player who doesn't have a release clause. And the release clause seems very reasonable. What is it, 35 million euros? Euros, I believe Ornstein's saying. So how are you feeling about this? And did it surprise you how quickly maybe this materialized?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me with the speed of it because, as you said, once there is a release clause, and it's like the McAllister Liverpool thing. There's a mechanism for a release clause in that, and very, very quickly done. I'd imagine probably Chelsea, similar to what they did with Diego Costa when they did the release clause, they'll probably negotiate something with Villarreal to go just below the release clause, so they don't pay any taxes on top of that and stuff. Because obviously in Spain you have to pay certain taxes when you do those sort of clauses. So hopefully Villarreal will be sensible and not make us pay a release clause. So we obviously save a bit of money there. I haven't really seen much of him. Again, he's obviously a very young striker. I saw CFC Central sort of said he wasn't the finished article yet, which is, doesn't surprise me at 21 years of age. Obviously, he's still learning his trade. It'd be interesting to see. That probably indicates to me, the futures of Broja and David Datro Fofana. I expected Datro Fofana to go on loan again, but do you think? I don't know. I think Chelsea will bring another striker for some reason. I don't think he'll be the only one. I think maybe Broja and David Datro Fofana might go, and then we're bringing two new ones possibly. But that's what I think on that.
Two new ones, you're saying, on top of Nicolas Jackson, or you just mean one more striker out the door including. And then one more in addition to Nicolas Jackson?
Yeah, one more in addition,
Gotcha.
I think we'll try. We'll try to anyway. Whether we will or not, obviously, remains to be seen. But I think we'll try.
Okay, Pice, so your opinion, same thing I asked Dodge about just how quickly this all came about and the fact that it looks to be, of course, it's not done, but it looks to be basically almost complete just because it's personal terms being agreed with a player that's got a very reasonable release clause.
Yeah, I agree with Dodge. I think this one will definitely happen. Obviously, no indication on the salary, but I'd imagine it'd be quite low. Obviously, an increase on his Villarreal salary most likely, but I'd still imagine it would be quite low compared to other players. Obviously, he's a young player as well, so I think it would be a bit extreme to put him as the starting striker next season. So I do still think we'll go in for another one, and I do definitely think Armando Broja and Fofana's futures are massively up in the air now. Especially, I'm really interested in Broja because earlier I replied, okay, just sell him. I don't think he's going to get game time and all that, but there's part of me which I do still want to see him in pre-season. I'm sure Pochettino wants to have a look. I'm a little bit worried after his injury, but at the end of the day, I think it might be a good idea to actually maybe loan Broja and see if he can get form over a whole season and get regular game time, because we must also remember all the reliable reports which have said that Christopher Nkunku is also viewed as an option by the club up front. So, potentially we could have sort of Jackson, a new striker, and Nkunku all sort of as options for up front. Obviously, Nkunku mainly will not play up front, but he's still an option there, and I think that hurts Broja as well.
Interesting. So, Pice, I'm going to give it right back to you. Do you now want Broja to be you? I want to still stay on Nicolas Jackson because we got people requesting, right? And I want to bring them in, and I want to hear how they are viewing this Nicolas Jackson deal. And I want to stay on striker before we move to midfield and before we maybe move to other subjects. But Caicedo inevitably will be tied into this conversation a little bit because of the trickle-down effect of signing Nicolas Jackson now, like you guys are saying. Now there's some question about, are we going to have three young strikers in Broja, Dacho Fofana, and Nicolas Jackson, or is one going to go? Are you someone, Pice, who is okay? I think you are, because I saw your comment on Twitter about this earlier today. I think it goes to Felix Johnston. But are you someone that's okay losing Broja permanently to get Caicedo, especially now that Nicolas Jackson's in the door?
Yeah, ideally Jackson wouldn't come for me. It would be Broja. It would be Broja as the backup and still in contention. But I formulate a lot of my opinions also on what the club are basically doing. And I would, now that Jackson's probably going to come in, I would look to add, Broja or Gallagher into that Caicedo deal. It's a shame for Broja, but I remember, I don't know if I said it at the time, but when he got injured, I was just like, that might be the end of the road for him. And people were like, you're so dramatic, but I don't know, he did well to get into the position, and will he ever get it back? And playing for Chelsea again, I'm just not sure, man. I'm really pessimistic on it. I do like him, but yeah, I would definitely include him in a deal for Caicedo if it made it cheaper, of course. There's no point just paying 85 mil plus Broja or something, because then that would be valued well over 100 million. It's got to be cheaper than that. So whatever Chelsea think is the most sense, makes the most sense, then do it at the end of the day. Gallagher, though, ideally, because I really don't rate Gallagher at all. So I would happily include Gallagher in a deal for Caicedo. I think that'd be fantastic, actually.
Okay, so once again, staying away from midfield, because I think many people are willing to give up Gallagher if it can lessen the price for Caicedo, and Caicedo comes in return. But staying on the subject of striker, okay, so Nicolas Jackson, it sounds like, I don't want to completely twist an agenda here against you, Pice. Not that it's against you, but I don't want to twist your words is what I'm saying. It sounds like you're kind of disappointed that Nicolas Jackson's in the door.
A little bit, I guess. 30 mil on an unproven striker when we've already got, Broja right there is I don't know, man. I don't know if I rate that, but at the end of the day, we have also wanted these young, cheaper signings. We need to trust in the recruitment team. Badiashile is obviously a really good example of a player that none of the fan base had really heard of or actually wanted at the time, and he's become a really, really good player for us. So if Jackson joins, I'll 100% back him and hope he does well. But yeah, I'm a little bit confused as to why we're not just giving Broja that role. Especially if we sign another striker, it's like, well, what's the point in that? We have Broja already. But there you go.
Fair. And I want to get Dodge's opinion on that basically before I get to what I want to say about striker. Dodge, if I told you it was one or the other between Nicolas Jackson and Armando Broja you already own. Nicolas Jackson, of course, we know is about 30 million pounds, right? 35 million euros. Who are you taking?
I'll stick to what I thought a few weeks ago, even before I knew anything about Nicolas Jackson. I always thought maybe we'd possibly loan Broja out, especially after the injury. Is he going to be? I thought he should have had a loan last year anyway, but I know we're a bit stuck on options at the time, so it wasn't really possible to let him go last year or the year before. Sorry, but I would loan Broja out. I don't know whether I'd sell him as such. Obviously, I think there's other players who would probably make up money, so hopefully we're under less financial pressure to sell Broja. But I would loan him out, and if I had the trade choice between the two, because of the injury, again, we don't know what he's going to come back. Obviously, he could come back; it'd be amazing. But it'd be interesting to see if Pochettino wants to see him in pre-season, and then they make the decision after that. But obviously, they seem to be moving for Jackson now, so I'm indicating that they might have already made that decision.
You're a clever man, Dodge. So you didn't just say one or the other as if you won't own the other guy. You're just sending Broja out on loan. And hey, it's good reasoning, right? You're using the injury to maybe say, all right, I'm not giving up on Broja.
Well, the thing is his value going to be that high coming off the injury? I think West Ham, did they bid, is it 35-40 when
right.
the sum we kept him? I think West Ham bid that. what's he probably worth now after the injury? 15, 20 mil. So his probably value's gone down quite a bit because like people don't know what he's going to be like when he comes back.
Right.
So
yeah, no, I hear you. I mean, the injury is not ideal for him. It's not ideal for us. I think Broya's injury was hugely detrimental. It was actually one of the biggest negatives of this previous horrible season. And I just mean that. I'm not saying he was going to save us, but of course, had he not got injured, it would have just given us so much more clarity on what to do with this position come this summer, how much we should be spending. But I do like, and Dodge, don't take this personally. I want you as a permanent speaker here, but I'm actually going to remove you as a co-host. Okay, I know the horror, just so I can have